Down another team, Miami, one of those teams that has been in the top 25. Duke looking to get back in the top 25 as well. Both sides, 4 coaches, have a lot of experience and understand what winning needs to look like. And we'll get into them later on in the show as Duke starts off with the ball. Right now, Duke leads this series 17-5 overall. The most impressive thing about Duke as they're starting off with the ball on the offensive end is how they're doing it by committee.
Yeah, balanced scoring. And you see that with both teams. And I think it's just a luxury when you talk about transfers coming in, how new these teams look. You see that all throughout the ACC, actually. A lot of teams not having that star player anymore. It's done by committee.
Kickball will send it as a reset. They'll get it back on the baseline. And that's knocked out as well. Talk about offense. Well, on the other end, with Miami starting off on the defensive end, they have the second best scoring defense in the ACC. Number 1, well, that goes to Duke.
And I was going to say in their shoot-around, Miami worked a lot on special situation defense, sideline out of bounds, baselining out of bounds, pressure, the press.
Diana Mayer off the mark for the long 3. As we look at the starting 5 for Miami. Jada Patrick, Shayeann Day-Wilson, 2 former Duke Blue Devils. So we'll keep an eye out on how they perform on today, as first on the board are the Hurricanes.
Yeah, Spearman, such a talented player. You see the length, the athleticism that she uses in her post move. Just so much upside for the sophomore.
Also in the starting rotation, Coach Meyer wanted to adjust some things, getting up and down the floor as you take a look at the bottom of your screen at the Duke starting 5 as well. Jadyn Donovan, Ashlyn Jackson. Donovan turns around, tries to kiss it off the glass, and now on the board for the Blue Devils.
I love Donovan's game. She's a Swiss Army knife, does a little bit of everything, can score in different ways, but just a freshman angel. In case for those of you who haven't watched Duke, the freshman phenom, so much upside to her game as well.
An offensive foul going back to Duke.
I mean, we talked about that balance scoring, Jadyn Donovan. Poor closeout, she'll punish you when she does that. And I love it, the spin move to the baseline.
Azaria Spearman picks up the foul there, and that was immediately what Coach Meyer was telling us. Hey, we have to make sure that we keep her out of foul trouble, something that she's struggled with throughout this season.
Yeah, and that's discipline. That comes with being, with being a baby on a team. But you got to appreciate the effort and how hard she works. But again, discipline.
Katie Meyer in her 19th season at Miami, coming off of the best performance in program history, making it to the Elite 8 in the Greenville 2 region. Actually lost that game to LSU as Duke with back-to-back buckets. Jada Patrick sends it off. This one from Jasmine Roberts off the mark from the 3. And Kayla Oldacre couldn't hold on, gets it back, couldn't kiss it off the glass. And we have a tie-up underneath. So Reagan Richardson was able to tie that one up. It will stay with Duke. Just talked about Katie Meyer in her 19th season. I think it's just impressive what she's been able to do here at Miami. Lost a lot of production from a season ago, but talked about how they had to just bring more talent from across the board. As you can see, the 3 ball going down. And how about Shayeann Day-Wilson giving the tray figure to the bench at Duke?
And Wilson, I mean, so talented, and she's been playing very well, shooting it very well. She's one of those players that did bring Miami out of that slump when you talk about their game against UNC.
Played last 2 seasons for Duke, average about 13 points per game.
And Coach Lawson said, yeah, we know what we're going to get out of Shayeann Day-Wilson, so we got to lock her up.
Jalen Williams off the bounce. Backdoor cut by Roberts, just off the front.
Duke does such a tremendous job keeping teams out the paint. They do a tremendous job of keeping players in front of them. That's what Coach Meyer said. Hey, we're gonna attack. We got to keep attacking the paint, but we got to find those kick passes because they can keep in front of you.
Both teams averaging about 68-65 per game. Miami at 68. So we want to see the pace of flow on the offensive end for both teams as well, knowing that both sides are so efficient on the defensive end. We talked about Katie Meyer. We have to talk about Kara Lawson in her 4th season at Duke. And I think the most impressive thing that you talk about when you look at Duke is just how they're doing things in the last 5 games with the freshmen that they have. And she said, they're really starting to show me something, but most impressively on the defensive end.
Yeah, I think, when you get to a certain number of games, when you're playing as many minutes you are as a freshman, it's almost like you're not a freshman anymore. Still a lot to learn, but again, they've been playing so great as of late.
1 on the shot clock, and they could not get it off as Richardson tried to take it off the bounce. Not communication there for Duke, and a turnover for the Blue Devils.
Great defense here by the Hurricanes. This is what they do. That's why they're amongst the top, actually right behind Duke in defense, but forcing that shot clock violation.
Kara Lawson talked about how they need to improve in their last couple of games. She said 19 turnovers in the previous 2. We have to take care of the ball because Miami scores off of them, and rightfully so, as they do so there.
Yeah, the conversion rate for the Hurricanes, getting stops to scores, I mean, it is out of this world.
Kennedy Brown had space, misses it left. Miami, so quick in transition. That's something that they've gone over and shoot around. We saw the emphasis on getting the ball up the floor, putting pressure on the transition defense for Duke.
I mean, this is the athletic Miami team, so they want to push pace no matter who they're playing against. But yes, like you said, when you're playing against the Duke Blue Devils, that's exactly what you want to do. Keep attacking. Don't let them set up in their half-court defense.
Oluchi Okananwa checks in for Duke. As Jadyn Donovan blocked at the rim.
Yeah, Donovan did a great job going coast to coast, but Oldecourt just waiting there for her to come in the bench. To come to the basket.
Richardson, top of the key 3. That's drained. And we're all knocked at 7.
And Richardson, she can shoot it. I've seen her shoot some really clutch buckets.
How about this matchup with Okananwa and Shayeann Day-Wilson, 2 speedy guards.
I like that matchup as well because Okananwa, she's a shot blocking guard on the team. Provides lots of length.
Another short shot clock. Jalen Williams could knock that down from the top of the key. Here comes Mayer. Mayer went against the screen. Congested on that right side of the floor. Mayer with the hesitation, blocked at the rim, and Duke, known for what they do on the blocking side of things. Miami showing what they've got as well. Shayeann Day-Wilson, corner 3, no good. So a foul will be called on Miami. We've got a great one to start. Keep up because the pace is fast. All locked at 7.
I'm a parking gate, and I'm all out of whack.
Presented by Food Lion, official grocer of the ACC. We have Miami and Duke here in Miami. We're tied at 7, a little under 5 minutes to go here as we check out Duke's resume, and their strength of schedule is very solid. Hey, when you're taking on also like a Diana Taurasi and Team USA in your schedule as well, but played South Carolina. Kara Lawson said she wanted her young team to be tested right out of the gate, and they've done so.
Yeah, and they put up, you talk about what they were able to do in the non-conference, even though not pulling off wins, they showed some great games, especially when you talk about Stanford having a close game like that, and to see that from a brand new squad, let alone a bunch of freshmen. It pays dividends when you talk about now and the stretches that they're going to have to go in this tough ACC conference.
And let's check out Miami's tournament resume. We already understand what Katie Meyer can do in the tournament coming off of that Elite 8 appearance. But even in this season where she said we've lost production, they are projected to do some dangerous things if they continue. But they need another win in the ACC play as well. Their only ranked opponent taken down was NC State. But the luxury of playing in the ACC as well is that you can be tested night in and night out, knowing their strength of schedule is solid as well. So it is a battle within this conference.
Exactly. I mean, and you talk about that's how you build a great resume against playing great teams with tough schedules. And like you said, that's exactly what the ACC gives you.
So Duke showed a full court press and dropped back. Top of the key tray, bit long, but that's something that Miami is going to look for coming in top 10 as far as threes. As also, even though they lost the game against North Carolina, got hot late in the second half, had 13 threes that they had in that game as well.
Yeah, Shy showed out. But threes, that's what brought them back in the game. And threes, I think that'll be utilized in this game, especially with Duke. They're going to try to pack it in the paint.
Mila Emsbo in the game for Duke travels on that possession. We'll give it back to Miami. Full court pressure once again from the Blue Devils.
Some turnovers going on both ways. Obviously, you don't want an unforced turnover.
Duke with their third turnover of the ball game, and as we mentioned, just how important the threes are for Miami. In their previous 2 games, they've shot 42% or better from distance. Patrick pulls up for the mid-range, which is also pretty nice.
Yeah, and Patrick, she has that element in her game, and I love that. You drive in, Emsbo not there, gives you space, you pull it up and shoot it.
Jadyn Donovan held up by about 3 Hurricane jerseys. Off the bounce, Mayer took a bump getting there, nothing called. As Jalea Williams trying to assess the play, and Reagan Richardson close to a steal. Still gets it back, has one to beat. Short on the layup and couldn't convert. Williams. Wing 3. We can talk about it all game. That's something that Coach Meyer said is important. Not only because that's something they do well, but also going against the length of Duke.
Here we go, they have numbers again. Excellent pass here in transition. Back-to-back transition buckets. We talked about it, how Miami does a great job converting from defense to offense.
Dwyer top 5 in steals in the ACC. That gives Miami a 7-0 run. And they're playing fast basketball to start off.
And we talked about Dwyer, how she was in the starting lineup, now out of it, but changes the pace, as you can see here, push and pace.
Another steal, couldn't finish on the left side. Both teams have to be in great shape at this point. Mayer left alone at the top of the key, responds with a triple of her own.
Mayer is definitely a calming factor. She's a player that can bring you out of a scoring drought. She can shed light on the offensive end. She's a 3-level scorer, very talented at the point guard position. Shooting
34% from 3. The transfer from Boston College actually led the league in assists last season as a freshman. And another turnover, and you can see the frustration as we have a couple of substitutions in bunches for both sides. Stedman and Day-Wilson check in. We have Duke 2 out as well, 3 coming in.
I think with Mayer, she was a little frustrated there because she said, Oluchi, no one stopped you, you keep taking it. I think she wasn't anticipating that pass.
So the 6th Duke turnover gives Miami the ball back. Oldacre battling down on the block against Emsbo. You see a different look defensively for Duke.
I'm gonna say zoned up. Look how packed the paint is.
Stedman off the glass, couldn't finish there as she had a short shot clock.
Tremendous defensive effort there by Duke, just not allowing any type of paint opportunity for the Hurricanes.
That's the type of look that Kara Lawson wants. In rhythm, turning down a good shot for an even better one.
And I mean, you talk about Thomas, the bench. We talk about on both sides how key the bench players are, how much production they have off the bench. That's an example right there.
Delaney Thomas, another freshman out of Charlestown, West Virginia. As we have a foul on the play that'll go against Duke. All right, well, every Thursday we'll have a women's basketball doubleheader right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. This week we'll have 2 great rivalry matchups. Virginia Tech hosts Virginia at 6 Eastern. Then a top 20 matchup between North Carolina and NC State. You don't want to miss that. I feel like we talk about that every week. A top 25 matchup within the ACC. Last minute of play in the first quarter as Miami edging Duke just by 1. 5 on the shot clock. Day-Wilson had to pick it up. Gets it back, pulls up, top of the key, off the mark.
Great defensive effort by Jackson on Wilson.
And it was almost like the communication there of understanding how Shayeann likes to get to her spots on the floor, especially from 3, right? And it was a communication coming off of that screen between both that really allowed them to make her take a difficult shot.
Absolutely, and that's film, that's discipline, knowing your scouting report. That's something Kara Lawson harps on heavily with her team. She says, you know, you come, you play discipline, you come locked in, and great things happen for the Blue Devils.
So Jadyn Donovan takes a seat, comes in for Delaney Thomas, actually. As Kara Lawson signals the 1 shot from the sideline. Donovan going against Jasmine Roberts. 10 left on the game clock. Pull up by Jackson, rattles in.
Yeah, Jackson, another one. She can score, she'll bail you out.
And that was almost a turnover. Carry over too when that, you know, relationship between the men and women's basketball team is there.
Yeah, I mean, the support, it means so much. Like, to have the men's team there at the sideline, not too cool for school to come out and support women's basketball.
They understand that women's basketball is the hottest thing out right now.
Oh yeah, it's hot.
Well, how we ended the first quarter, Miami went on a 7-0 run before Duke got on a hot streak of their own. They ended on a 7-0 run that gave them the 15-14 edge. Jackson sends it to the corner. Gotta credit the defense we've seen from both sides. Jadyn Donovan trying to see if she can get something in the paint. Okananwa off the mark from the wing. Spearman, top of the key. Kennedy Brown has been left at the top of the key for that 3 ball. She's 0 for 2. Another 3 goes down for the Canes. That one coming from Allie Steadman, who had 2 huge threes in their previous game against North Carolina.
And Steadman's actually a capable shooter, despite what it might say on the stat sheet for the season. Very great 3-point shooter.
They're still by Hilton up top, and it's just them rattling them at this point and getting buckets on the other end.
Yeah, this is what Miami does. They get a steal, they can get a score, and I love this ball movement here.
That's the 7th turnover for Duke, but to your point, even though Kara Lawson doesn't like the turnover number, they are dead ball turnovers.
Yeah, you want to be able to
I thought that you were going to say something along the line, taking care of the ball. Miami then turns the ball over, and they were able to get it back. Another foul will be committed by Miami, and Duke will get it on the sideline. But
lots of turnovers on both ends.
Right, so for Miami, that's their 4th turnover. But as far as the points off of turnovers, though, Miami has 6 off of the 7 for Duke, and 5 for Duke off of the 4 for Miami. So something for both teams to clean up.
Duke has been really looking to play through Brown in the paint, whether the basket's there or she's passing it out, because she's a great post player. She's a great passer out of the post.
Kennedy Brown 0 for 4 to start. Dwyer at the rim, trying to force it over Brown. Dwyer able to track it down, one of the fastest players in the league. I loved what Katie Meyer was telling her team. She said, we're fast, where they're fast as well. She thinks that this is the quickest team that they've seen all season.
And the best team as far as being able to guard one-on-one defense.
Day-Wilson, that rattles that in. Shayeann Day-Wilson now with 5 points.
Coach Lawson trying to guide her team through an offensive set right here.
Kennedy Brown still looking to get on the board. The backdoor by Okananwa. She gets the and one.
And that's just how you run your set here. We'll have to look at the previous set here from Miami. Just a hustle play there by Dwyer. And I mean, who else other than Shayeann Day-Wilson to bail someone out with a bucket that just dropped there. But then on the other end, Oluchi Okananwa, she just does not stop. Her motor goes, and that's just a great cut to the basket for the and one.
How about a player that was leading the team in points, steals, and rebounds, standing at 5'10", on a team that has 6 players that are 6 foot and above. The heart, the energy that she brings off of the bench is unmatched.
I mean, she has a motor that just goes and goes and goes. And I remember hearing Coach Lawson say, even if she's not scoring, she's always proud of her because she has that energy. She brings it on other parts of the court. Duke applying some pressure here. It's going to fall back.
You can see how they are sharing the ball. 6 different scores for Duke, 7 for Miami. Turnaround by Patrick, that can't roll in.
I'm so impressed with the one-on-one defense by Duke.
Not only does Duke have the best scoring defense in the conference, they also have the best field goal percentage defense in the conference as well. And that's something that Kara Lawson said, they're starting to gain my trust. And when we gave her the number, she said, oh, okay, well, now we're starting to get it. Spearman couldn't handle the pass underneath. So that'll be a turnover given to Hilton. Taina Mayer pulls up, back iron. Okananwa rebounds, can't finish. 2-point lead for Miami, who trailed after the first break. Miami playing well at home, and Shayeann Day-Wilson is the leader in that.
Yeah, you can't give her too much space coming off the ball screen. They saw what type of day she was having.
Shayeann Day-Wilson had an 18-point game against UNC, has had 4 straight ranked opponents, and she has shined in those games as well, averaging 16 points and adding to it. With the Blue Devil Nation, as she was a huge standout there, the 1986 ACC Rookie of the Year, over 1,700 points, earned the first triple-double, Asia, but I don't think there's anything more impressive than that nice perm mullet that she was rocking her freshman year.
Rocking the mullet. Coach and I are looking good. Hair's looking good now, too.
I told her, even the other pictures that we saw in her tenure, I said, nothing has changed. So I mentioned that. I was like, in NIL time now, do you think you would have had a hair deal? She said, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, with that style?
Maybe there's still time.
This will be an important possession offensively coming out of the timeout for Duke. They missed a lot of their last shots.
Duke has missed 7 of their last 8, actually, to your point. 5 on the shot clock for them. Richardson pulls up, in and out, and Spearman rips down the 3. Duke right now on a close to 3-minute scoring drought, as Miami looks to build on his 5-point lead here. Spearman posting up. Short shot clock for the Canes as well. Williams with the spin moves, hesitates on the outside and gets it to fall.
Yeah, Williams just relentless in her attack, doesn't give up. Great defense by Mayer, but better offense by Williams.
This is the biggest lead for Miami. Jalea Williams, the junior out of Pompano Beach, Florida, doing everything right for them right now in her junior season. One of the vets on this team only have 5 points against North Carolina. We'll see if that changes in this game as there's another turnover with Roberts snatching that one out of the air. Pulls up, gets the bucket. Another turnover, another bucket for the Canes. That's going to lead to a timeout for Duke to fine-tune some things on that end.
Yeah, the Hurricanes doing what they do. That is defense to offense, and Roberts with the jumpers.
I'm a parking gate, and I'm all out of whack. And if you have cut rate car insurance, this could leave you all bent out of shape. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem.
It's bow time.
Hey, sweetie.
Hey, Mom. I land at 3.
Any ideas for your first meal home?
Bojangles?
Well, you don't want my cooking. Well, okay.
This holiday, order your family's favorites in the Bojangles app.
Now that tastes like home.
It's bow.
Welcome back. Well, here's Tuesday's ACC Network men's basketball doubleheader. Syracuse and BC are at 7 Eastern, and Clemson hosts Louisville at Little John Coliseum. That's at 9 Eastern. Make sure you're glued to the television on Tuesday. Duke coming out of timeout, wanting to fine-tune some things on both ends of the floor, but turning over the ball in the last few possessions and still looking for their first points in the last 3 minutes. Miami right now on a 7-0 run, and Duke have seen better quarters offensively, just 1 for 10 from the field. Patrick held up on the baseline, sends it back to Roberts. We've seen a short shot clock for both sides. 3 to work with for Miami. Top of the key, just short.
Yeah, Miami, they got to get it to the other side of the floor. That whole possession just on the left side.
Jackson off, and Spearman, when she checks in, does a great job just limiting Duke to 1 possession. Shayeann Day-Wilson, who has 8 points, leading the way for both sides. Patrick, wing 3, drains it, and gives Miami their 5th 3 of the ballgame.
And threes, that's exactly what the Hurricanes need. Teams are going to pack the paint. They drive it, but you got to be ready to spot up on around the arc.
Katie Meyer told her team, listen, we got to understand what we're good at and knowing who we're going against as well. Against North Carolina, who at the time had the best scoring defense, as Richardson able to knock that one down. She'll get a free throw as well. But Katie Meyer said we had 36 points from 3, 18 from 2s. We have to have that same type of game against Duke. She said 8 corner threes was something that they might have to look for, but right now with the 5, most of them have come from the wing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you force rotation, you get the ball moving around. The 3, that's what's going to be open, so players got to be shot ready and be able to knock it down.
Reagan Richardson, who's leading the team in scoring, averaging about 11 points per game, knocks down the bucket for the 3-point play. And that broke the drought as well. Roberts, corner 3. Off, but how about Jalea Williams able to poke that away, working baseline. Roberts up and under. Off the mark, 3rd opportunity at the rim. Spearman at the rim and can't finish, but we'll get 2 from the charity stripe.
And you mentioned it makes such a huge difference with Spearman in the game, and that's why she needs to stay out of foul trouble. Her length, her relentlessness. Watch here, she just gets a great body in there. Well, not yet. Here we go. Right after this shot, gets her body in there and is able to secure the rebound and draw the foul. You see here at Spearman. I mean, this is exactly what she does. This is why she's needed on the floor. You got to love the effort there by the sophomore.
Zaria Spearman has a game-high 5 rebounds. Can't connect at the free throw line.
And Coach Lawson, she subs Emsbo back in the game, has more length. Gonna see how this size matches up with Spearman.
Able to connect on the second one. We'll have a substitution, and Spearman comes to help Oldacre off the floor as well. I don't think I've ever seen that before. It's a very interesting way to have a substitution.
I'm gonna come get you, but you come get me off the floor first.
Mayer, nice look on the inside. In and out action to Jackson. Jackson knocks down the wing three. Nice ball movement for the Blue Devils.
And that's what Coach Lawson wants to see. Not just ball movement, but inside-out ball movement to open the floor up for those three-point shots.
7-point game, less than a minute to play in the first half. Dwyer's been quiet in this ball game, has yet to score. Less than 10 on the game clock, on the shot clock rather. Williams playing with the rock, wing three. It shakes the hand because yes, she's on fire.
Yeah, Williams, it took a minute, but she got hot.
That is the 6-3 for Miami as they have the double-digit lead. Duke can hold for the last possession here. 10 on the game clock to close out the first half. Taina Mayer picks it up, sends it on the inside to Jackson, short. Emsbo with the rebound. Richardson not able to get the ball off in time, and that will do it for the first half with Miami with the lead. Miami getting things done from behind the arc, 6 trays in the first half. They are 10-0 when they're leading at halftime. Can Duke change that? We'll send it to the halftime show. Justin Walters and Ivory Latta, take it away.
The turnovers, when you talk about the Hurricanes, able to get everything that they want, pushing in transition. Then you got to talk about Duke as well, not making shots in the second quarter.
There are your leading scores at the bottom of your screen for both sides. And when we go back to those fast break points, Miami just running at every opportunity they can get and have that edged 10-1. Miami starts off with the ball, shot 44% in the first half. Duke 33. I think the most important thing is that Miami scorched it from outside, already knocked down 6 triples. Near turnover, Patrick able to get it back for the Canes. Less than 10 on the shot clock as there's a bump by Richardson. So the foul will go against Reagan Richardson. That'll be her second. And the Canes will get it back underneath. Spearman able to bring some relief. And Shayeann Day-Wilson knocks down that corner three.
There it is, the corner three we were talking about. That's what Coach Meyer said would be open all day. That's where she wants her players to hit those shots and take advantage.
Shayeann Day-Wilson already 3 for 5 from distance. This is the biggest lead for Miami. There is a foul on the play underneath. Reagan Richardson would have been ISO'd underneath.
Just great execution off the inbound play. And Duke, you got to execute defensively. If the inbounder passes in and cuts in, 9 times out of 10 they're getting the ball back, especially if it's Shayeann Day-Wilson.
Shayeann Day-Wilson on the other end did pick up her second personal foul. That gives Duke the ball underneath with a reset shot clock. Taina Mayer on the wing. See the battle underneath. Kennedy Brown, quiet, has yet to score in this ball game. Going at Spearman in a block underneath and an offensive foul that will go against Kennedy Brown.
Yeah, they're going to call the wraparound. I saw it from here. It was an obvious one. Have another look at it. Kennedy Brown in the post. Yeah, wraps the arm around. Actually gets Spearman in the neck.
Mayer, great hand, steals it from Shayeann Day-Wilson. Duke held up. Kennedy Brown begging for the ball on the inside, able to kiss it off the glass for her first bucket of the ball game.
And I love that they keep trying to get it into Brown. Whether Brown has the bucket like she just did or not, she can pass it out, create a lot of things for the Blue Devil offense when you get inside and out.
Averaging about 8 points per game and 5 rebounds, just her first bucket. Kennedy Brown had a stretch, though, where she was just incredible at 3 games where she scored in double figures. As they're down 11, Miami looking for points on this possession. Less than 4 on the shot clock. Roberts, not a lot of communication there. Roberts didn't have much to do with it. It was only 1 second on the shot clock. They turned it over.
Yeah, and that was the length of Donovan and Richardson just completely blowing up that handoff. But if I'm Coach Lawson, I'm happy there to keep getting stops and then scores, executing on both ends. That's what we talked about, that consistency.
Shayeann Day-Wilson will take a seat as Lachey Dwyer will come in, the junior out of Ontario. And it's something that was a switch in the last 5 games. Dwyer has come off of the bench. She said she wanted a different look as far as the pace offensively, but Dwyer also their best on-ball defender. Donovan at the glass, just misses on the left side. Jadyn Donovan, 2 for 5 from the floor. The only player in double figures in this ball game is Shayeann Day-Wilson. Already talked about her lighting it up from outside with the 3 trays. Williams with a dart to the corner and will turn that one over. I mean, it's hot outside, but I saw smoke coming from that one.
Yeah, that was a hard pass. It was a good look, though, right decision, but couldn't execute.
7th turnover for Miami. What does Duke need to get to here?
I think they need to continue to keep getting into the paint like they are here. And if it's not there, continue to kick it out. But that's how you execute. Get it right there into the paint.
With that bucket, too, they do tie things in the paint, 10-10. Patrick outside, back iron, is Taina Mayer able to track that one down. We're seeing more pace and transition from Duke. Kennedy Brown able to run the floor. Donovan left alone on the baseline. Jackson pulls up wing 3. Duke shooting 30% from the 3-point line as the Canes come down and take the bump for a foul. All right, well, here's our next gymnastics meet right here on the AC Network and the ESPN app. Friday night, NC State squares off against the 24th ranked Clemson. That's at Little John Coliseum. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern. Definitely don't want to miss it. And we appreciate you joining us here for Duke Canes basketball. Duke coming off of a upset win over Florida State. That was their largest win over a ranked opponent since taking down 15th ranked Clemson. As a 3-ball goes down for Miami there, and Shayeann Day-Wilson just subbed in.
An extremely fun matchup to watch, and Shayeann, such a talented player. I mean, she's so hard to guard. Look at this. I mean, that's great defense, but how about it with the step-back shot? I love the confidence there.
And then on the other side, a turnover for Donovan. And she has 4 turnovers herself, so that will lead to the substitution change that we saw for Duke. A lot of contact on the block between Thomas and Spearman. I know that Coach Meyer talked about what she wanted from Spearman, staying out of foul trouble. Right now, she's been able to handle her own, only has a 1. But what have you liked about her opportunity of just doing the little things so far for Miami?
I mean, she's been a beast on the glass. You know, she's going to play her defense, and you talk about it. She's been able to manage staying out of foul trouble. So, you know, that just shows the effort and the discipline. But the ceiling is so high for her.
Knocks down the free throws. Spearman just shooting 45% from the free throw line, so it gets them there as the rest of the way Miami is in the bonus. Backdoor cut by Oluchi Okananwa, excuse me.
I mean, we talked about her motor. She's always going, give and go. She's always moving off the ball, and that's the most dangerous player on the offensive end, are the players off the ball.
No players in double figures for Duke. Leah Williams with an acrobatic finish at the rim. And on the other side, just like lightning, Oluchi Okananwa able to get to the rim, takes the bump, and she'll get free throws. I think that's one of the most impressive things about her game. It's always next play. Just getting the ball out, the first person down the floor, and she'll get 2 free throws because of that.
And that's the mindset that you have to have. But I think what's even more impressive about what you said, to have that mindset as a freshman, that's something you rarely see.
Jada Patrick picks up the foul. That's their second, as that one doesn't connect for Okananwa. Williams comes back to the free throw line and will send Shayeann Day-Wilson up top. The next foul that Miami commits will put Duke in the bonus, as Oluchi is able to knock that one down. Miami shooting 45% from the field. 2 players now are in double figures, none for Duke, but that is a turnover for the Canes. That'll be Shayeann Day-Wilson picking up there in tough trouble as she picks up her 3rd foul. So Lachey Dwyer checks back in the ball game, and Shayeann Day-Wilson will take a seat with the 3 fouls. It's been an interesting pace, like who steps up at when and how does Duke get their points. Right now, Okananwa putting a lot of people in the spin cycle and able to get a nice bucket there for Imsbo.
And her athleticism, her being able to probe and attack the paint, that draws in defenders and opens up opportunities for other players, like you've seen there with Imsbo.
Yeah, just a rushed possession there for Miami. This is our break zone. They step aside, we'll do the same.
It's Duke Carolina, of course it's bigger.
They've gone 1-3 in their last 4, but in that last 4, they've seen top 25 opponents. What are some things that you're seeing in this game that they've just adjusted after the first 4 that we've seen?
Well, I think they're doing a great job just attacking the paint, ball movement, getting the ball moving around, and we talked about the threes, how they've been able to light it up from outside. And, you know, that home cooking, it does something for you, Angel. You see the NC State game, that was a home game that they won, but this game, important. You want to continue to rack up those home wins and continue to finish out strong.
They are finishing strong at home at this point, 2-1 in conference play as that's poked away. So a timeout on that last possession and a turnover for Duke, something that I know Kara Lawson just cannot be pleased with at this point because they have points off of it once again.
Yeah, continuing to do what they do, and that's the Hurricanes, getting stops on defense and capitalizing it on the offensive end.
Jackson held up, finds Donovan on the block, going at Roberts. Just a struggle at the rim for Duke. And Williams tries to sneak in. Duke able to emerge from the pack. They have 18 to work with on the shot clock. Nice backdoor look. Donovan is able to find the connection with Mayer.
Yeah, Donovan just right spot, right time, snuck right back there in the back, able to get the bucket.
Wasn't that something that for Katie Meyer as well, just understanding what her defense needed to do and the communication she wanted to see on the back end?
And I think that was just a miscue with the hustle play here at the top. They just kind of left Donovan back there. Forgot about it for a second.
Dwyer working to the rim. Imsbo got her on the hip, so 2 free throws on the way for Dwyer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is a miscue. I mean, Donovan just right back there, basically just chilling. But a great find by Mayer.
About the playmaking ability for Taina Mayer, was leading the conference in assists during her time as a freshman at Boston College. Camilla Imsbo picks up her 2nd personal foul. That puts Dwyer to the free throw line. Dwyer shooting a little over 61% from the free throw line. And splits the pair. Here comes Donovan. Tried to dish it on the inside, a turnover. That'll be the 12th for Duke. A foul on the other side. It looks like this one will go against Imsbo. That'll be her third, and as we mentioned before, about the 6-minute mark in the third quarter, Duke had gone over the limit for fouls, and it's bonus free throws for Miami the rest of the way.
And you go back to the turnovers that you see for Duke. I mean, it's just not to discredit Miami's defense, but it's really just sloppy plays, and as we talked about before, that attention to detail.
So I think we do have blood on a player, Ashlyn Jackson. Will have to be tended to. They do have time. They will be able to see if they can rectify the situation. The blood we saw as she was running off the court was coming from her knee.
I think that might have happened in that tie-up that we saw in that last possession before Donovan got the bucket.
Eric Bruton giving everybody an opportunity to get settled. The chief official, as we have a substitution now for Miami as well, with Allie Stedman checking in. I tell you what, the 5'9" junior has been so impressive. Has made a few trips around Phoenix, Pepperdine, coming in. And really finding a home with Miami as well, and just brings that outside shooting that they need with so many different players from last year's team leaving who could light it up from outside. All right, well, every Thursday we'll have a women's basketball doubleheader right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. This week we'll have two great rivalry matchups. Virginia Tech also go against Virginia. That's at 6 Eastern. And then a top 20 matchup between North Carolina and NC State. Isaiah James has been lights out. Deja Kelly has done the same. She's been playing some incredible basketball before this last stretch where she had 17 points. She had 4 consecutive games with 20 or more. Duke from outside as Okananwa knocks down the triple. And we have a 10-point ball game.
It's got to be a sigh of relief for Duke just to get things going on the offensive end.
Miami held Duke to its fewest points. That's the fewest points they've allowed in ACC play this season. A foul will go against the Canes, and that should be bonus.
But before the foul, they could have had transition, but that pass from Okananwa to Donovan, it was just a sloppy pass, almost a turnover even.
Sorry, I'm behind on my stat tracker here, so the next foul for Miami will actually put them at the free throw line, but it's a 3-second call, and right away you could hear the frustration from the Duke bench as that's another turnover, the 14th to be exact. We talked about just the turnovers and that being something that they wanted to rectify coming in this game, averaging about 17 per game, but the last 2 with 19. And they seem to be just things that they can really fix right away. So what's the next adjustment for them there?
I mean, I think you just got to be poised and get it together, and it's the discipline piece of it, because a lot of it, like you just saw in the last possession, unforced turnovers, sloppy plays.
And a foul on the block. It looked like it's going to go against Kennedy Brown, who was going against Spearman. So guess what? Free throws on the way for Miami.
I'll tell you what, Spearman, she's been working in the paint.
So the 9th and 10th free throw on the way for Miami. That one rims in for Spearman. Spearman with such upside, 6'4", the sophomore out of Tequila, Georgia. Only know that because, and the way to pronounce it, because I'm from Georgia and I've heard some people butcher it before. Great length.
Yeah, she just got them this extra possession here with the tip.
Less than 90 seconds to play in this third quarter. Patrick didn't get the ball, is face guarded by Mayer as Dwyer guarded by Donovan and couldn't get over the length. So a turnover Patrick, ball movement, and a collision underneath between Williams and Kennedy Brown. And there wasn't a lot of action in that last play.
Yeah, Williams. Oh, that's great. Great job by Kennedy Brown stepping in there.
So that's her
Getting
first
position.
Yeah, first personal foul there. We have a substitution that will come in. Patrick Roberts will check in, and 2 with the new rule of not having that restriction zone too.
Yeah, you got to just ignore that arc. It's actually limited to just right under the basket. I mean, I think the name of the game for Duke right now, especially on the offensive end, is just to take care of the basketball.
They have 1 less turnover than they have field goals made. So 15 field goals to their 14 turnovers as Kennedy Brown able to clean up underneath.
Yeah, great job by Kennedy Brown. She just soared through the air and able to finish.
About an 11-second difference between game and shot clock. Top of the key, Ashlyn Jackson tried to reach in the cookie jar, but it'll actually put Miami to the free throw line for 2. We're going to talk about the youth as well for Duke. I know with them just having a nice stretch of basketball, but also coach saying, hey, we still have room to grow, and just understanding, you know, this is a young team. We're looking down at the starting 5, about 3 freshmen that have been impact players, 2 coming off of the bench as well. Oluchi, one of those freshmen as well, but still a lot of room to grow as far as what they need to do consistently in the ACC.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the silver lining of when you have a young team. There's so much room for growth, so much upside in the future of this program. They have great players coming in next year, but you know what? The best thing about this now is these freshmen are getting the experience right now, playing in such a strong conference. It's going to pay dividends.
Yeah, you can be good in the conference and not win. You have to be great going against the ACC opponents you have. As Donovan on the backdoor cut gets the bucket, 3 seconds to work with. Julia Williams will heave it, half-court shot, and off the mark. So that will do it for the 3rd quarter. We got 1 more frame on the way. Miami leading by 8. We'll see if they can close it out in the 4th. And the difference as well, so a top 12 matchup, North Carolina. I do believe they picked up their 10th straight win. Got a nice one, survived the game against Florida State. So their next matchup with the Tar Heels, that'll be fun. Dan Schulman and Jay Billis on the call. College Game Day also headed up that way as well, so that will be fun. Make sure you tune in.
You gonna go to that one?
You know what? The way this season is gonna, I think I might be okay just watching it.
Just watching it from home.
But a great one nonetheless. Thanks for joining us for this one. Duke going against Miami. Miami has been in control the majority of this ball game, had their largest lead by 14. That was midway through the 3rd quarter. Duke actually outscored Miami in the 3rd quarter, 18-16, but also them trying to overcome what they scored in the 2nd quarter, just scoring 8 points.
Yeah, and a lot of that is just getting to the paint. You just saw in that possession, heavy emphasis for Duke on getting the ball in the paint. We saw that from Okananwa, we saw that from Donovan, and we saw that from Brown.
Yeah, Jasmine Roberts committed the foul for the Canes. That's going to put Donovan at the free throw line. She has 1 more after missing on the 1st and can't connect on the 2nd one.
And second chance opportunities. That's how you can continue to chip away. Love the effort there by Brown.
9 offensive rebounds for Duke. Another opportunity at the rim. Jadyn Donovan, the only player in double figures for Duke as they have a short shot clock. Off the mark. Almost tipped away, but Jasmine Roberts will be able to get that one back. So a full court. Pressure that we're seeing against Miami. So Duke known for how they either full court press. Carol Lawson said that's been adjusted with this younger group last year, who top 5 in defense in the nation.
But it's still a luxury to be a great defensive team and be able, as a coach, to say, well, we're not as good as last year, you know, we're decent this year, but
we're
everybody
just still
outside looking in, they're still elite defenders.
But they're still leading the ACC in defense. A lot of contact by Oluchi on the sideline. You can see how she just wants to bring more of the energy, set the tone on the defensive end, looks to the sidelines as, you know, that's my bad, coach.
But that effort, that energy, that's something that you can't teach. So Coach Lawson's got to love that.
Just her first foul. Reminding you that Miami had the lead, double-digit lead at halftime. They are 10-0 at half when they had the lead. Have yourself a day, Day-Wilson.
Shay is hot.
Leading all scorers with 17 and doing it efficiently. How about 5 trays for the day? 5 for 7 from distance, 6 for 9 from the field.
I mean, she's not just shooting it well, but she's shooting it deep. She's shooting it with a hand in her face. That's just confidence right there.
Miami with numbers. Shayeann Day-Wilson almost had the edge, slipped up on the wing. Corner 3. Bounces around to no avail. Jackson stops. Wing 3 off the mark. Able to be saved to friendly territory, but can't connect. Shayeann slowing the pace for Miami. Taina Mayer will check in at the next dead ball for Duke. Timeout will actually be called as Katie Meyer wanted to make sure everybody was on the right page. But Shayeann Day-Wilson can double that with another 3 here today.
And she's just been shooting it absolutely well, showing all facets of her game. She's got 3 assists too, but we got to talk about how she's just been lighting it up from beyond the arc, showing up and showing out right here at home in front of her crowd.
The former Dookie played 2 seasons at Duke. You have to think that she wanted to come in and have a big performance, and right now she's leading all scorers with 17.
Yeah, absolutely. A huge chip on her shoulder and doing exactly what she did at Duke, showing her scoring ability.
4 on the shot clock. Patrick tried to float it up there. A foul is going to be assessed, and it's going back to Duke. So Spearman picks up her 2nd, team's 3rd. Team getting instruction from Lawson on the sideline as more ball movement. Oluchi going at Day-Wilson. 1 too many steps. 15 turnover for Duke. And as much as we've said that for Duke in the turnovers, Miami just 5 behind them. Turnover there, so the 11th. Oluchi is able to get Patrick in the air and finishes on that one.
Yeah, Duke applying pressure in this press has really made a difference. We're going to back it up now, though. But you got to wonder if it helps offensively that they're back on the side on their bench. We talked about how Kara Lawson's been really helping them just get through their offense in terms of guidance.
Single digits right now for the Hurricanes, who've been up as many as 14. Julia Williams trying to work her way to the rim. Off the bounce, able to draw the contact. Miami looking for some points here too. They haven't scored in the last 2 minutes of play. Duke has had and strung some opportunities together on the offensive end. And Richardson, actually, Reagan Richardson picks up her 4th personal foul. So that's something to keep your eye on as we have 6:39 left in this ballgame. Delia knocks that one down. Well, here's Tuesday's ACC Network men's basketball doubleheader. Syracuse and BC are at 7 Eastern. Then Clemson, they host Louisville at Little John Coliseum at 9 Eastern. Stick around for that on Tuesday as we have a substitution. Donovan will come out. Thomas will come in. So Delaney Thomas, the freshman out of Charlestown, West Virginia, checks back in for Duke. China Mare's like, oh, you maybe.
Yeah, I thought it was off of her foot, but listen, got to take it.
Nonetheless, Duke gets it back. Just forcing the situation. Duke right now just out of rhythm offensively. Roberts couldn't knock that one down. A stoppage of play. Duke actually will get the ball back after a foul is committed.
Yeah, Spearman, she just went right over the back of Brown. Easy foul call there.
So Z Spearman picks up the foul there, her third. So back-to-back fouls for Rosaria Spearman. Plenty of time in this ball game. As right now, Miami has the 11-point edge. Mare from the corner, short. And that has not been their strong suit today, as they are just 4 for 16 now. Top of the key, Day-Wilson off the mark. How about Jada Patrick creating the second chance opportunity for that bucket?
Yeah, great second chance opportunity and bucket for Miami, and Duke got to get some rhythm flowing.
Fourth rebound for Patrick. Another short three. Not sure if that was deflected. Same area, same results. Williams sends it to the corner. Day-Wilson, can he do it? Can knock it down there. Has missed her last 3 trays from that side of the floor. So another foul, and this one looks like it's going to go against Spearman. So that'll be her 3rd consecutive foul.
And that's what Coach Meyer talked about, the discipline. That's where the biggest area of growth for Spearman is, just to have that discipline.
You almost think, you're just like, oh, she was doing so well up to this point. 3 consecutive fouls in the last 2 minutes of play. Asia, as now she will go to the bench with 4. And Duke now in the bonus. So Mayer able to knock that one down. Drains the second. And Duke just trying to chip away at this point. Right?
Exactly, and it starts with stops on one end and scores on the other end. But for offense, you have to take care of the ball. The turnovers is where they've really struggled. They got to stay poised, stay calm, and just execute offense.
Slowing Miami down, too. The one thing that we talked about in the first half was how they were going to adjust on the fast break points. Miami had that advantage 10-1. They've only had 4 fast break points since then. Excuse me, 2. Less than 5 on the shot clock. Jada Patrick couldn't finish that one at the rim. Imsbo advances the ball here. Less than 5 to play in the ball game. Richardson finds Imsbo on the dive. Duke once again chipping away, making it a single-digit lead for the Canes.
Tremendous pass by Richardson. Tremendous find. That's what I mean by they got to start clicking. It's starting to get there.
Day-Wilson found some space, pulls up, too strong. More advancement for Duke. Richardson out front and finishes.
We talked about fast breaks from Miami. That's what Duke needs too, and that's where they're really good too, is in transition.
7-point ball game now. Miami desperate for some points now on the board. Roberts up top. Much needed bucket for the Canes. So we have hit our media timeout. Duke right now on a bit of a run, but a nice tray for Miami to extend it back to double digits. Presented by Food Lion, the official grocer of the ACC. Sebastian hanging out with a couple of the fans. They like the score, 10-point lead for Miami. Let's break down how they got to this point. I tell you what, they have knocked down 10 threes today so far, coming off a game where they had 13 against North Carolina. Didn't come up with that win, but they have led the majority of the way.
Yeah, Miami just finding rhythm offensively, dominant on the offensive end. Duke kind of struggling there, had some turnovers early on, but things are starting to look up for the Blue Devils. They've been getting a lot of points in the paint, providing themselves second chance opportunities. They just got to continue to chip away with stops and scores.
Yeah, we saw the full court pressure and how they really put their foot on the gas with their intention on the inside. Foul here, so that should be free throws for Duke. Reagan Richardson will be the one that will receive the free throws. So Julia Williams actually picks up her third personal foul. 2 free throws on the way for Duke, and Spearman at the scores table. 3:29 left. She has 4 fouls. Coming off of the bench, she'll come in for Kyla Oldacre. Well, stick around Thursday night at 10 Eastern after our women's basketball doubleheader. The Nothing But Net crew will break down the night in the ACC with highlights and analysis of every women's game and look ahead at the best matchups in the coming week. Asia, I feel like that's every single game we have on the women's basketball side. It's just something that's a top 25 matchup.
Every single game.
Close to a turnover for Miami. A lot of the pressure coming out of that timeout for Duke. Look more in tune, more cohesive on what they need to do. Just an 8-point ball game after those free throws. Just the 7th time this game that Duke has cut it to under 10. But we'll see how Miami responds, because they have done quite the time, have pushed it back to double digits on those 7 times as well. Taina Mayer sends it off baseline. Kennedy Brown all the way to the rim, finishes it. And this is the closest it's been in the second half.
And I love the push, but you got to watch Spearman with 4 fouls. She has to kind of take it back a little bit defensively, make some decisions there. So if I'm Duke offensively, I'm going to continue to attack her, see how she plays you.
9 on the shot clock. Day-Wilson has been quiet in the last 3 minutes of play and just can't communicate there, and throws it away with 1.4 on the shot clock.
And that's great help, great pinch there by Donovan.
So we're seeing a little bit more of that offense-defense as Oldacre checks back in for Spearman. Asia, it's a 2-possession ball game.
I mean, you can't let up on the Blue Devils. Can't take your foot off the gas, because these are some hungry youngsters.
And the momentum shifting to Duke. Taina Mayer beating 1, sends it off to Donovan. Duke has made their last 3 field goals. Can they continue to build on it? Kennedy Brown has been a big part of that. That's deflected by Oldacre. They get it back. Kennedy Brown tried to tie it up, and actually will be a foul against Brown. She wanted the tie up, and it seemed like she had it initially.
Have another look at it. I mean, I thought initially, I agree, I thought initially it was a tie-up. But again, until the arms got locked up, and I guess that's what the ref was calling. But it starts here with Duke with this press that's given them some life, some energy.
And this one indeed will be a tie-up. So the officials making sure the arrow pointing in the right direction. It will stay with Miami as Lachey Dwyer will check back in the ball game. It's been quiet in this ball game. Lachey Dwyer coming off of the bench, just 1 point in the 18 minutes of play.
But Dwyer, a quick player, someone who can look, who can push it here and attack the press, break the press. Here she goes right now.
Dwyer actually leading the team in 3-point percentage. Season high 18 points. actually averaging just under 8 points, and we'll see if she can close this one out as we're now under 2 minutes to play. Less than 8 on the shot clock. Patrick throws it away. Here comes Duke. Oluchi Okananwa out front, gets the bucket. It makes it a 4-point ball game. Duke on a roll, hit in the last 4 buckets.
It's a huge momentum play for Duke. Let's have another look at it. A stop to score. That is such a great run by Okananwa again. The defensive stop. Great job by Brown just getting the deflection there, but even better run by Oluchi Okananwa.
All the momentum shifting towards Duke. Still a 4-point lead for Miami as we reset a bit. Duke has 3 timeouts, Miami with 2 left, and Duke also in the bonus, so that's something to look at. Just 1 foul to give for Duke to put Miami on the free throw line as we're just 90 seconds away from this game being completed. 1:30 left on the clock. And Duke showing that full court press that you've liked so far in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, it's given them a boost of energy. I think it's given them the momentum that they needed to get their fast break points. So this is going to be important. Stop and score. They're going to have to get it done on both ends. Get the stop, but not turn it over either on the offensive end.
Close on the sideline there. It's very interesting, too, because you start looking at the tentativeness of a team. So are you playing to win? Or are you playing not to lose? What is Miami trying to stress on this end of the floor as they're in a bit of a scoring drought?
Well, they got to calm it down, especially with this Duke press. They just have to stay poised.
On the other end, Duke on a 6-0 scoring run. Jalea Williams, a 1-woman press breaking crew.
But Miami's worked on this in their shoot-around, different ways to break the press.
Approaching the 1-minute mark. Jalea Williams finds Roberts at the top of the key. Patrick looked like she was stripped by Mayer on the pull-up. They will call a foul, though. That'll be 2 free throws on the way.
Was it a foul? Let's have oh, yeah, she got her. From my angle, it looked like it was the ball, but yeah.
Yeah, just an opportunity. Just, you thought she had the hand in there, just that offhand. Grab that elbow as Patrick steps to the free throw line. She'll get 2. 1:04 left. Pushes it to a 5-point ball game. Knocks down both huge free throws for Miami. They went 2:30 without scoring a field goal. As we're under the 1-minute mark, Mayer from the corner is fouled on the 3. She'll get 3, stops the clock. Gonna have an opportunity to make it a 1-possession game, Asia.
And this is huge. This is where free throws really come into play, down the stretch.
So Jada Patrick commits the foul there, just her 3rd. Asia, any reaction to that replay? So that corner 3, didn't look like there was contact up top. Did you see anything below?
I'm thinking she probably didn't let her come down in her space. And that's where the refs saw the call.
Knocks down the first 2, 1 more on the way. 57.7 left in this ball game. Drains the 3rd. Duke full court press. Roberts shortly looking for help, almost turns it over. Now a timeout, a much needed timeout, as it was desperation time to avoid the backcourt violation for Miami.
Yeah, Coach Meyer, she's going to have to do some talking to her team, how to stay poised and break the press, but how about it with the energy?
It's another thing that Katie Meyer was talking about down the stretch for her team. She said in North Carolina, she blew a lot of her timeouts at the beginning of the game because she just had to reset things, try and get them on the same page. Didn't have them at the end to gather everyone. Understanding that you can advance the ball to half court and alleviate the full court pressure for Duke. You have 2 timeouts left. Actually, 1 now left for Miami.
But actually, I think that's really huge. I think that's a good timeout call because you don't want Duke to continue to get that momentum.
Duke has the 3 timeouts. From here on out, each foul for either side will put both teams to the free throw line. Miami will shoot in the bonus for the next free throw, or foul rather, as Shayeann Day-Wilson slowing things down. And this has been a matchup that you wanted to see coming in this one. Okananwa going at Day-Wilson.
Oh, this is great effort by Duke. Great effort by Duke, great effort by Brown. Forcing that turnover, forcing Wilson to step back forward. I mean, look how high that hedge is. Brown out. I mean, it's such an impressive defensive play by the big.
Kennedy Brown has stepped up in the second half, scored all her points in the second half, and has been all over the floor. Like, you can't look at her stat line and think it's indicative of how she's impacted the game.
No, she's made a huge difference, whether it's scoring, whether it's rebounding, her defensive effort, both in the paint and, as you just saw, outside of the paint. She's been really good for the Blue Devils. And then now here on offense, I expect them to look to get into the paint, play inside out. Plenty of time left.
Yep, Oluchi's pressure really forcing Miami out, away from the rim, and then that beautiful hedge by Kennedy Brown to cause the turnover for Miami. Duke is outscoring Miami in the fourth quarter, 17-12. Duke has not led in this game at any point.
And I think the biggest difference here has been the press, like you said, that they've applied, especially in this fourth quarter.
33 seconds left in this ball game, plenty of time. What are you looking for as far as offense from Duke out of this timeout?
First of all, I'm looking to take care of the ball. They got to start there, take care of the basketball. Plenty of time left. I want to see them work their way inside, see if they can get a shot there and they can work it out. But inside and out, I think, is the key.
Absolutely.
Got to play through the paint.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. And the three-point ball has not been their friend in today's match, but you never know when one can go down. Duke has missed their last 5 from three-point range.
And we got to remember, too, Spearman with 4 fouls.
In the ball game for the Canes. As Mayer has it up top. About a 5-second difference in game and shot clock. One too many steps, and Okananwa sends it back to Miami. Turnovers, the Achilles heel for Duke today.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one. And have another look at it here. Yeah, that foot slid, yep. Just one too many steps, but you got to have that next play mindset. That's what you talked about that she has. This will be a huge stop for Duke.
Plenty of time, the 18th turnover for Duke. Can they get it back? Right now, Miami playing some keep away. Most importantly, have to get it across half court. Jalea Williams able to do so. No foul being committed.
Eventually. There we go.
Yeah, Jalea Williams is going to take all the air out of the ball at the top of the key.
And Coach Lawson looking a little disappointed. She was telling her team to foul right away. It took a little too much time off the clock.
16.5 left on the clock as both teams are in the bonus, and Jalea Williams will step up to the free throw line. Jalea Williams shooting 60% from the free throw line. No player is shooting over 80% from the free throw line for Miami, but knocks down the one there. And that's huge because that makes it a 2-possession ball game.
Yeah, absolutely. Just capitalize as much as you can when you get those fouls and the easy ones at the free throw line. You want to extend the lead as much as you can with these opportunities.
2 timeouts left for Duke, and they will call it to advance it. 16.5 left, and Jalea Williams is met by Katie Meyer, who is happy with how her junior has been able to knock down the free throws. So Miami looking for another win in ACC play. Picked up their first one against Wake Forest, second against NC State with an upset, their highest in program history. And now looking to take down Duke at home. Will push them to 3-1 in conference play at home, making this a very dangerous play for their foes to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. But Miami, outstanding game. They hold it down at home. Now here, big key. They're just going to want to defend without fouling. That's all they have to do.
So you think for Duke now, they do have one more timeout left. Is now a time to go for the three?
I think now they should go for the three. They haven't been shooting it well from beyond the arc, but I think they need to get that look now. They could also get a quick one and foul, but
so 4 threes have gone down for Duke. 4 different players have knocked them down. Richardson has one. Naina Mayer has knocked one down as well. Okananwa and Jackson. So Jackson 1 for 4. 3 of them have gone 1 for 4 for the day, with Richardson 1 for 2. So trying to see where Kara Lawson may be thinking she wants to go at this point in the huddle.
But I mean, you have Richardson, you have Mayer, you have Jackson. These are all players that step up and they hit clutch shots. So
So the officials at the table right now trying to figure out if it was a full or a 30 timeout. So they said it was 30, but Miami took a full.
Was it 30?
Yeah, I felt like we were talking for a very long time. But Eric Bruton coming to clarify what was taking place. I think we're all set to go. 16.5 left in this ball game. Miami has led the entire way. Duke looking for points here. Corner 3, short. That's been the story for them all day, as Spearman able to get the rebound, and a foul was committed. That will put Spearman at the free throw line with 9:1 left seconds in this ball game.
yeah, that's just tough for Duke. Great execution in terms of the pass. Finding Jackson in the corner, but just missed the whole entire basket. As you said, the name of the game for Duke this entire night.
So Reagan Richardson as well as Kennedy Brown now with 4 fouls. And Spearman rolls that one in. So I have to correct this as well. It was actually Duke led early in the first quarter, but Miami has just been dominant from the second on. Duke able to make it a 1-possession game. Trying to see if they can make some magic happen here, and just another opportunity from distance that can't connect for anything, and that will do it here in Coral Gables.
Yeah, just cold shooting from the Blue Devils. Lots of turnovers that we saw, but Miami, great game. They were able to knock it down. Jadyn Wilson had a tremendous game. And, I mean, how about it? Holding it down on your home court. Great end to the end of January as both teams look